Well, here it is, tubers, the VW engine. It's probably no question that this one's not just going to be quick and easy start and run. It's missing a plug wire. I don't remember where the heck that went. The air intake is broken. I'll have to tape that back together or something, because it's after the airflow box and it won't run without knowing how much air is in there. There's a fuel line missing off of there. There's a fuel line disconnected here. I think that goes to the regulator. I think fuel pressure goes to here. Pressurizes those injectors, comes across, pressurizes the cold start valve, which doesn't work. Pressurizes these two injectors and goes to the regulator and then back to the tank, I think. It's been so long I don't remember. Got the relay, brain, the load resistor for the injectors. What else? We got the fuel pump right here, and a short piece of line. That's still hooked up. I don't know if that still works or not. That was stuck. I had to pry it apart to get it running last time. Negative battery terminal is hooked up. Got some switches here that I ran it with. The biggest problem is the starter solenoid right there. The positive terminal has broke off. So I'm going to have to pull that apart, pull the starter off, I'm going to pull that apart and see if I can't fabricate something. But I'll get the tripod set up, see if I can't pull that starter off of there. Well, it's going to be a big job. I forgot to mention that I hope it's not more than a one beer job, because that's all we got. That's the last one out of the ice box. Somebody's going to have to go to the store. So anyway, there's the offending culprit right there. And we'll see if we can't get that off. Looks like there's a stud with a nut down here on the bottom and a long bolt here on top. So let's see what we got. 15 millimeters. And there's the other bolt. I think that should be it. And there we have a starter. Meet you over at the bench. Alright, here we are. I gotta figure out how the solenoid comes off, and it looks like there's a couple of screws right here. So, let's see. Yeah. This one is being a little bit reluctant. There she goes. What I wouldn't give for a third arm sometimes. Okay. I don't know if this is just going to come off of here. Probably going to have to pull that off, and that doesn't look in very good shape. So I'll try to get that off of there without ruining it. Oh, tubers, we have a disaster here. This thing is in really bad shape. I had to pull the back off from it and unsolder the wire from the solenoid. One of the wires is broken right off. This tail nub of it is sticking out here. I hope there's enough that I can solder onto it, because it was already broken off of the inside of here. You can see part of it right there. I don't know if you can see it or not, that little shiny bit of copper. And it is missing the lug. I probably threw it away when it broke out of there. But I have this one loose. Got the terminal off from it from the starter, and I had to use some of my PB Blaster I love that stuff. It works great. This piece is broken loose too. It's just in really, really bad shape. Of course, if this was going to be an engine I would use in something, I would just replace the starter, because VW starters aren't that expensive. But I'm thinking it's time to crack into this baby. And hopefully the job will be done before the beer is done. Well, the Bendix, that part seems to work alright. And it does roll. The starter does turn. So it's not stuck. Yeah, the bearing is like really, really bad. Look at that. It's terrible. Well, actually, maybe there's no bearing in there. Maybe the bearing is the end of the motor. That looks awful shiny there, like that was pressed into something. And there is a little bushing or something right there. So maybe that's normal. I don't know. I've never actually had a VW starter off from an engine before. So anyway, I guess I'm going to go get some glue. See if I can't patch this back together temporarily, so that I can get the starter to work again, and I'll check right back with you. Well, here we go. This glue is Loctite 454. It's like a super glue paste. It doesn't got to be perfect. It doesn't even got to be pretty. Just got to hold it together enough that it'll work a couple times. Neighbors up the street are up for Memorial Day, it sounds like. That was that truck and trailer you just heard drive by. They're kind of jerks. They live up in the city of Rochester. They come down on the weekends and kind of snotty to everybody. You drive by their property, if you drive by a little too fast, they wave their arms and holler and everything like this. They own property on both sides of the road, and don't like it if people drive by their house too fast. Yet they can drive their four-wheelers up and down the road, which is not legal. Well, it's not pretty, but it's all glued together. I've wrapped some electrical tape around her to hold her together, and hopefully it'll fit. It should. Yeah, I have to unsolder this wire here and this hole here. And well, the beer's half gone and we got lots of work to do. I've got this solenoid all back together. I tried running it. The solenoid works, but it wouldn't spin over, I think, because the bearing on the end is actually in the valve housing here. So we're going to mount her up, and then we'll see if it works. Hopefully everything will work out good. And we still got to get the fuel lines hooked back up and sort out all these electrics, make sure everything's still hooked up right. See if the fuel pump runs. Fix the air intake boot thingy-majig there. Get some fuel around and see if it'll start. A lot of work just for a video. But I don't mind. That's a partial gasket set, actually. Guy gave me that for an older bug, but